So what are you working on in practice this week, and are face-offs one of them?
Yeah, I think it's always good to work on face-offs, especially that's where the puck starts. That's where everything's kind of equal playing field there. So that's something we've really challenged our centermen and our wingers nowadays, that we can get rotated in to take a draw if you get kicked out. So something we're focusing on every day, especially after practice, to work on that skill of taking face-offs.
Coach, counting the exhibition game, 3 games, 3 overtimes, is that something the fans are going to be looking forward to or expecting, or what can we draw from this?
Yeah, it was that way last year too, with how many 1 goal games. So just again, I think that's the parity and the level of opponent we're playing too ends up being tight games there. So, but I think we're really comfortable in it. Even though our first period wasn't great on Saturday night, I thought the bench was really good as far as being vocal and positive, and knowing that's not our best showing there, and then being able to regroup and have a really strong second and third period there. So it's a good thing when your team gets comfortable in those situations, because they happen a lot, whether you're up a goal or down a goal or a tied game. So the more comfortable we can get in there with keeping that intensity at a high level is going to benefit us in the long run, especially playing in the conference we play in.
This is something your dad, the longtime high school football coach, would know all about, but a couple of pretty good, this is more of a football term, a couple of pretty good prep teams there, scout teams you were playing for the rest of the year, right?
Yeah, again, I thought UMass was maybe the most physical team we've played in a long time. They finished almost every check, and then you get the Gophers that have how many first round NHL draft picks, and it seems like their whole team's kind of drafted, and obviously the skill and speed of that team there. So really good opportunities to keep growing. To Bridget's question on the feedback on what did we do well and what do we have to keep getting better on, and so I thought that was great for our guys to get that experience against such quality opponents.
What do you feel like you learned about your team so early in the season this weekend?
I think a little bit of grit. Again, I thought that's been kind of our identity here for the last few years, is that we're just a team that really just finds a way to keep showing up and keep engaging no matter what situation we get presented with, and just controlling our response to how things are going positively or negatively. And I thought you saw that with our group. Again, it could be easy to throw in the towel when you face adversity, and the hard thing to do and the thing you got to spend a lot of time on is that response. And just, I love Simon's answers there, right? He's talking about years of doing something to get to the level where he wants to get to, and it's no different than as a team. So I really just love the way, the body language was, the response was, the compete level was, and ultimately they got rewarded with it with a couple big wins.
Do you feel like there was some extra added emotion to that game against Minnesota, just based on how last season ended?
Yeah, we were talking about on the bench. I mean, we're playing for a championship, right? And obviously against a top 5 team in the country. So, and returning guys knew how close. I thought we deserved a little better fate last season, and so it was really nice to be able to weather the storm in the first period, and then have a lot better second and third, and ultimately find a way to win it in overtime.
You think the team proved anything to themselves, or this was any kind of a confidence booster that, just as Simon said, yeah, they can play with anybody?
Yeah, I think that's been slowly building over the last few years here, that belief, and I think it's so important. And when you're playing against top opponents, nationally known at a high level there, just to actually do it is another thing. So as you mentioned earlier, drawing on that experience now of showing up, playing a really good team, and coming away with a win, I think it's super valuable here moving forward as the season progresses.
How do you just move on from that and get ready for this weekend? There were a ton of emotions.
Yeah.
15 opponents. What's that challenge like in practice now, getting ready for this series?
I think that's another thing we've been pretty good at, pretty consistent in how we show up on a Monday, whether it's after 2 big wins or after a loss or after 2 losses. You have to be consistent in your approach to things, and you have to constantly look on how to keep improving. And I think our group does that really good. I think our staff does a good job of that. So as long as we keep our focus there and not get too high and keep focused on that, what got us there in the first place, that's usually when things go your way.
Coach, in that second period, did the defenseman, was there a conscious effort to maybe get the defenseman activating and get a little more aggressive creep into the offensive zone, into the Minnesota end of the ice? That seemed to be our view from way up top, as a momentum change, or a little bit, get some of that territory back in the second period and the third.
Yeah, I thought our defensemen, just first off, were more efficient with the puck. I thought a lot of turnovers in the first period there, and there's no defensive coverage for turnovers. There's no system play for turnovers. So I thought we managed the puck a lot better in the second period. And then we got on our toes a little bit more too. We weren't watching, we were engaging. And I think against good quality opponents, sometimes you can sit back and watch, and usually that's not a good thing. So I thought we were way more aggressive, way more on our toes. Our defense were more connected to the play, as you mentioned there, which is really valuable to do against a good opponent. So a lot better overall by not only our defense, but everybody in the second period there.
Coach, what can you tell us about Augustana coming in this weekend?
Yeah, they play extremely hard. You can see how they took it to North Dakota there for a 4-1 win, and you can see they like to push two guys all over the ice and kind of very, very aggressive style of play. So again, just like anything, it's not going to be an easy weekend at all. They're going to come in here and be really hard to play against there. So we got to be prepared.
What can you just say on Simon, the performance
Yeah.
together all weekend, especially against Minnesota?
Man, he's feeling it. It's just been fun to watch. It's funny when he started talking about a freshman, I forgot. Like, I think he only played maybe 2 out of the first 10 games, and we finally got him in a game against Long Island. So just a good message for all young players out there. And you can see his mindset on that growth mindset of how he didn't like how he played maybe against Niagara, and he kept working on it, and he maybe didn't even get in for a few more games after that. I can't quite remember, but I know it wasn't an easy first half for him as a freshman. And so it just goes to show when you're resilient there, and you just continue to work at your craft and be relentless on your process and not be as outcome focused. Good things happen, and man, to see his development now and where he's coming for, like, you can just, I think I spoke to it before the season, just in training camp, his calmness, the game's coming to him, the saves are looking easier and easier, and that's a sign a goaltender's really developing.
He didn't know that he had tied a school record.
Yeah, I think that's kind of like us, though. I don't know half the stuff either, and I think it's because you just kind of haste. I mean, it doesn't really serve you to think too far ahead or too far behind. If you can really focus on being relentless on the present and doing the work, I think that's good. So again, that's not surprising with Simon, and he just doesn't change. He's consistent. I think that's like our group too. I think just keep believing and keep working, and I don't know what's going to happen, but we're going to do those two things for sure.
Was it helpful going out that day early and getting about 40,000 steps around Las Vegas for the team to get to know each other a little better?
Yeah, it was great. It was, I think I've spoken to that just some of my favorite memories are traveling as a team, and a lot of guys hadn't been to Las Vegas, and our director of hockey, Zach, did a great job setting up restaurants where we had to walk a little bit and travel and see different hotels and go in different areas and things like that, which I think was good, one, to get moving, and two, to see the sights a little bit there. So it was a pretty cool experience for the team to get to do all those things.
Any time to do some gambling out there?
No, I definitely don't gamble. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right.